Right, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel. You're coming from a very wobbly screen mounted camera holder, or phone holder I suppose, because I've got nothing better to hold my phone with. So this is what we're dealing with. Right, anyway, it's going to be a choppy video. It's going to be all over the place. Some of it filmed today, some of it filmed another day, blah blah blah. You'll see why in a minute. So today is Tuesday the 23rd, and tomorrow I'm taking the car down to Craft Porsche Specialist in Bolton to get some of the parts fitted that we've discussed previously. So it's the stainless back box, the diff, limited slip diff from Quaife, the lightweight flywheel, and the uprated clutch. And the lads down there are going to chuck it all together for us, and I'll get the car back. So what I thought I would do is kind of document how the car is beforehand, because for the most part this car is still quite standard in the exhaust and running gear type of areas. So this is what a standard Porsche Cayman sounds like. So a couple of little rattles and stuff here and there, don't get me wrong. But when you put your foot down, not particularly invasive. The flywheel doesn't chatter, the exhaust isn't very loud. It's a relatively civilized place to be. Now obviously the car's on low profile tyres and this and this, so there's a little bit of road noise. But for the most part, I don't think it's loud in here. So we'll drop a couple of gears. And as you can see, sounds like a relatively sporty, completely standard car, but nothing to write home about. Now I have had passengers in this car who think that this is noisy or whatever, not because my car's noisy, but because they're not used to sports cars. But for any of us watching this channel, most likely you've had a sports car, you've got a modified hatchback, whatever, you know what noisy cars are, and this most definitely does not fit the bill of noisy car. So I'll do a quick video outside of the car as well, so you can hear the standard exhaust revving, this and the other, and then I will most likely bring you back, probably at the garage, give you a little introduction to the lads. But realistically, for sound and stuff, I'll bring you back once they've completed the work, and we'll do a comparison. So yeah, that's enough babbling from me. That's 3 minutes of waffle, time you'll never get back, but oh well. And yeah, I'll see you in the next clip. Right then, morning. It is Wednesday the 24th, and I'm driving down to Craft. There's not a lot to tell. I've got the parts on the passenger seat, and yeah, I'll be dropping my car off in about 10-15 minutes when I get there. So I'll give you a quick show around the place once I get there. Well, then I'm just going to leave the lads to do what they do, really. So a bit of a background on Craft. So the owner is Tobias, and Tobias used to be a director, amongst other things, at Hartec. Now if you know about your Porsches, you'll have heard of Hartec before. They do engine rebuilds mostly, is what they're known for, and other Porsche servicing and a bit of sales and whatever. I'm pretty sure I'm not fluffing this too much, but I think Tobias started there as an apprentice as a kid and worked his way all the way up through everything, including running the race team and this, that and the other, to the director level, and then he's branched out on his own. I don't know the ins and outs of going off on his own or whatever. I think they still work together. I don't think there's any bad blood or anything. So none of this video is aimed at I'm going with Tobias because it's not Hartec or any of that nonsense. I have no problems with anyone. I just like Tobias, so that's why my car's in with Tobias. And then the lad who works with him is a lad called Adam, and Adam has a YouTube channel where he rebuilds Porsches and modifies Boxster race cars and you name it. and some other stuff, Land Rovers, blah blah blah. So I'll link Adam below. Not that he needs my help, but I'll still link his channel in the comments. So go and check everybody out, see what you think, and yeah, I'll show you the garage once I get there. See you shortly. I forgot to get it on and drop my car off, so I'm back again. Some nice customer cars here, as you can see, and we'll go inside.
On a brief test drive.
Right then, we're back. So we've got the camera in my hand at the moment. We're just on what do you call it? Cold start. It's just dying down. And this is the new and improved sound that we get from the car with the exhaust and the flywheel. So I think at idle like this, I don't think it's massively different. There's a little bit of an extra grumble there from the exhaust, but you can't hear the flywheel or anything just on idle. So I'll put the phone back on the old wobbly, what do you call it, phone holder thing, and we'll go for a spin. But let's see, just at idle quickly. Obviously I'm me drive, I don't want to piss off all my neighbours, but listen to this. So I don't know how that comes across on the phone, but it's just a little bit more fruity, a bit more, there's something there. It's not a straight through exhaust, it's still got cats on, it's still got all the rest of it. So it's not too invasive, in my opinion anyway. But yeah, let's take it on the road and see what it sounds like under some load. Right, so I've modified my phone mount ever so slightly, so hopefully it's a bit less wobbly. So I'm doing 40 mile an hour now, and I'm in 5th gear, so it's, I don't know, general cruising, and I don't think that's particularly invasive. If anything, I actually think it's slightly quieter. But let's drop it down to second and see what happens, shall we? So there you go. I don't know again how that's going to come across. To me, it doesn't sound too loud. It's I've just been passed by an SVJ of all things, believe it or not. Anyway, don't see many of them in Lee. So yeah, anyway, as I was saying, I don't think it's too invasive. I think it's nice and just a little bit raspy without being too deafening, basically. In the past, we've all had, well, I had my Civic with straight through exhaust, and Chan's had Evos and stuff, and you name it, everybody's had loud, modified cars with big exhaust and all the rest of it, and they basically can't live with them, they're useless. It's not that, so I'm happy with that. The flywheel doesn't sound anything like Dave's. Dave's chatted away like a good one. I don't think this even makes too much of a noise. It definitely revs up so much quicker, so I'm definitely happy with it. It's what I wanted. But the positive, I was expecting it to chatter its cock off, and it doesn't. Unlike me, maybe you might say. But anyway, I'm really happy with it so far. Now, there was some little surprises that we found when we got there. A couple of sensors needed changing. The drive shaft was goosed, this, that and the other, so it did drive the price of fitting it all up and dragged the time out a little bit. Nothing the lads could do really. In fact, Tobias did do me a little bit of a favour. He gave the price a little bit of an haircut, not for any advertising or anything like that, but just because it had gone up so much, completely out of either of our hands, and I think he felt a little bit guilty, even though he had no need to. It wasn't his fault. But anyway, he did me a favour. So because of that, I would definitely recommend Tobias and his work and the garage, and also Adam that works with him. They were informative, rang me, kept in touch all the way through, this, that and the other, sent me videos, you name it. And even though the price went up from what was like originally, say estimated rather than quoted, because it was always an estimate. It was never a full quote. You never know, do you? And it went up quite a bit, in fairness, but like I say, it was completely out of anyone's hands. Definitely wasn't their fault. And so they tried to do me a favour. So yeah, go and check them out. They'll try and help you too, no doubt. So it's Tobias at Craft Porsche Specialist in Bolton. So what I'm going to do now is go and park up, put the camera behind the exhaust, and do a comparison to the previous one. And let's see if there's see what the difference on the outside is like. Alright, see you in a minute. So yeah, so there you go. That's the exhaust. I'll try and get the other clip and put them together and do a before and after as well, and blah blah blah. I don't know, the camera positioning's been awful in this video, and this, that and the other. I'm not really bothered. It's more to show the before and after of the modifications and stuff. I'm not trying to win a flipping award for cinematography, are we? So anyway, let's get down to the painful bit, shall we? Let's talk about the costs. So again, I'm aware this is quite a long video, and some people might be bored of the waffle at this point. So if that's you, you know where to go. But if you want to know about the costs, and if you're thinking about doing this sort of stuff to your car, take a seat, because it's a pain in the arse. It's not good. So first thing, the exhaust. So I've just got a back box, as I've said previously. There's no cap, no nothing, no manifolds, none of that stuff is included here. It's just a back box, and in that back, the cost of that back box was 300 quid at the time when I bought it. They're a little bit more expensive now. They're about 350. And it's from a brand called Toyo Sports. Now if I'm honest, the fit is horrible. It doesn't look good, and it was a ball ache to get on. But it's cheap, and that's what you get with cheap parts. So I have to say, it was worth what I paid for it, because I only paid 300 quid brand new. I will eventually upgrade it to something a bit better, but for the time being it does the job. You've heard the noise it makes, and I'm happy with it for what it is. Has it give any more power? Has it bollocks? It's just a back box. Anyone that tells you get 10 horsepower, 15 horsepower from a back box is waffling. There's no extra power, it just makes more noise. Anyway, 300 quid, or 350 now. Next one is the flywheel. So the flywheel and the clutch, because it's an uprated clutch with springs etc. to match the solid flywheel, because the original one comes with an unsprung clutch. It's got a dual mass flywheel. So anyway, we're in for $1,000-ish on the clutch, about $1,000. Now that didn't include a new friction plate, because I was under the impression that I'd had a full clutch, including the friction plate and everything fitted, a good couple of years ago now. But mileage wise, because I've got my cash car, it wasn't that many miles, it was within 10,000 miles. Anyway, it turns out that that isn't true, and they never fitted the pressure plate, the friction plate. They only fitted an actual clutch plate. So anyway, that aside, I ended up coming back to that afterwards. That was one of the jobs that put Tobias's costs up. So again, it's not Tobias's fault that someone lied to me 5 years ago, is it? So that plate was knackered, and I had to buy a new one as well. So that was a couple hundred quid, whatever. But let's just call it $1,000. So we're at about, let's call it 1,500 quid with that extra pressure plate, whatever, extra clutch plate, friction plate, whatever you want to call it, and the flywheel and everything. 1,500 quid. So with the exhaust, I'm at 1,500 quid. Diff was 2 grand. Now I did want a different diff, but again, the people who supplied it to me, to be perfectly honest with you, are knobheads, and I don't really want to talk about them, but they lied about the original diff being in stock when it wasn't. Then they lied to me and said they were sending it from the manufacturers when they wasn't. It turned out the manufacturer hasn't manufactured that diff for a long time, for a number of years. So anyway, that aside, they did source me and supply me with the Quaif one that we've got in now, which, to be fair, is the same sort of diff I wanted. It's a helical one, the geared one, not a plated one, even though the plated ones technically are a bit better. It's a serviceable item, and I didn't want that. I wanted it pretty much as close to fit and forget as I could manage. So that's why I wanted the geared diff, and that's what we went with. And they charged me extra for the privilege, which was nice of them, you know, seeing as they lied to me and dragged it out for months and this, that and the other. I honestly thought they could have stood the difference, but it was only about 60 quid and they wouldn't stand it, believe it or not. So if you want to know who that company is, I'm afraid I'm not going to tell you, but if you troll through my old videos, maybe I've mentioned it somewhere in the past, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, they wouldn't even absorb that 60 quid cost. I'm not to 60 quid, but you would think from customer service point of view they would have stood it, but anyway, they didn't, did they? So not great reviews. However, the diff is brilliant. I've not spoke about that actually on the video, so we'll come back to that. But that was 2 grand, so we're basically at 3.5 grand now. So then there was the drive shaft, and then there was a couple of sensors and this, that and the other. Call it another 200 quid for all that. I actually can't remember the cost, but I think I'm about right on 200 quid. So we're coming up for 4 grand there. What's that? 3.7. And the labour and everything all in takes it to, give or take, without adding up to the penny, we'll call it 6 grand as a round figure. So it's a 6 grand upgrade, let's call it. Now what else could I have done for 6 grand? I maybe could have sold the car and bought something else, but what would I have got for the car? Maybe 10 grand, something in that region. So it puts me at about 16 grand. What am I getting for 16 grand? A bit of a tatty M4. Well, it would definitely have been quicker, but do I trust the reliability on the absolute bottom end of the M4 market? Honestly, I don't, because Steve had an M3 which was the same as the M4, and he had a few issues, and his was low mileage and it was full service history and this, that and the other. Now it all got fixed under warranty and blah blah blah, and he didn't have any issues going forward. But even still, once you've seen it with your own eyeballs, you worry a touch, don't you? What else could he have got? A slightly newer Cayman. I wouldn't get into a 981, I don't think, for that money, or not one that I want anyway. So I'd have been looking at a 987.2. For me, there's no point. It didn't seem like a good enough upgrade, so I didn't bother. Maybe an old as in leggy 911. You can get into a base Carrera, 997 Carrera. You could get into a 996. Honestly, I didn't want one. I didn't see the point. If I could have got into something daft like a turbo or something for that money, then yeah, I'd do it one hour. But I don't really see the point in upgrading from this car to a 911 Carrera. They're not much quicker, they're not much more powerful, they're not much more valuable. There's almost no reason. So that was out the window. So then after that, it was bottom of the range Astons, this, that and the other, and I didn't want the bottom of the barrel car. If I'm buying an Aston, which I might, I'll be spending 30 odd grand on one, no doubt. So pretty much I had no option. Oh, I did have an option, don't spend the money, but I wanted to spend the money, so I spent it on the modifications. I don't think I can really put the money into something else and get a better car. The way it drives now is so much better. It's way more than I expected, and it actually does feel like a £6 upgrade. I was skeptical at first. I said it to Tobias. I said it to pretty much anyone that had listened. I said, really, when I start thinking about it, a little bit of regret, a little bit of remorse here. But once I've driven it, come out of Tobias's 100% private road, got a bit squiffy, as I say, on private land, so I didn't break any laws. And it was so controllable, and this, that, and the other off the bat, with no experience in it or anything. I hadn't settled in, I hadn't got used to it or anything, and I could just control it like a computer game. And I was blown away, and I thought, actually, you've done the right thing here. It does feel like a £6 upgrade. So I'm actually happy in the end with everything I've spent, even though it's a lot. It's way more than I thought it was going to be. It's way more than I think Tobias thought it was going to be. But this is where we're at. So overall, I'm still happy with it. Would I do it again? I think I would. I'd obviously be a bit more, I'd have my eyes open a bit more. I might buy from different suppliers. I might buy different parts. I might buy a different exhaust next time and not buy this cheap one. I go straight to a better one. But those little bits aside, the overall ethos of the car, let's say, I'm 100% happy with. It's exactly what I wanted. It's way better than I expected. And for anyone that doesn't understand, again, I understand I'm waffling a bit. And if you don't like it, you can get fucked. I'm not bothered. But for those that want to know, everything I've done is what Porsche are doing to the latest GT3s, as in the essence of it, the theory behind it. Granted, it's not a GT3, is it? I'm not stupid. But they're putting diffs in. They're putting light flywheels in. They're doing shorter gear ratios, which is the next thing on the list that we're going to tackle in this car. But that's a £4 bill as well, so it's going to wait a little while before I get around to that. Anyway, that side, these are all the things that Porsche are doing to their own cars, and those cars always end up going in value and this, that, and the other. I'm never going to be able to afford one of them cars, as far as I'm aware anyway, unless I win the lottery or something. So this is the next best thing, and I'm definitely happy with everything we've spent and everything we've done. So if you're thinking of doing this sort of thing to your car, if you do track days, if you want the GT3 experience without the GT3 costs, if you just want to make your car a bit more lively and you don't mind the compromises that you have to live with, the extra noise, this, that, and the other, the costs, then I would definitely recommend it. If you're scared of a bit of road noise, if you're scared of a little bit of judder here and there and a few extra rattles and all that sort of stuff, don't bother. This isn't for you. Go and get yourself a nice standard sports car. Upgrade to the 981. If you're in a 987, you'll much prefer it. So yeah, so that's that really. So then onto the diff, because that is surprising to me that is the biggest difference in the car, and it's the one that has absolutely exceeded my expectations. I wasn't really expecting a lot in normal driving conditions. I thought when we get to the track, granted, it's going to give us an advantage, but it turns out it's transformed the car. So it's difficult to put it into words. I've driven factory limited slip diff cars before, not Caymans, but other cars with a factory limited slip diff, and it's not the same thing. These are so much tighter. They're definitely motorsport parts for a reason. And basically the best way to explain it is it just feels much more darty. When you put your foot down to go round a bend, you now know that you could feel that power was transferring to the inside wheel. And sometimes you could chirp that inside wheel, and you just lived with it as a characteristic of the car. And obviously I knew that's what it was doing at the time, and I knew that this would overcome it to some degree, but what I wasn't quite prepared for is just how much. So the tyres that I've got on aren't particularly good tyres, but instead of chirps in that inside tyre and the outside tyre kind of just following round and coasting round, and you can feel it's mostly the inside wheel doing the work. Now it just feels like someone's come behind you like in school and shoved you in the back like this, and you just go around the bend so much better. and I'm absolutely nowhere near to pushing the car or the diff or anything else to its limits when I'm doing this. This is at normal road speeds. This is at manageable speeds where you can just feel the characteristics of the car before and you feel the characteristics of the car now. They're massively different. And well, like I say, while I did know that that was going to be the case, and it's the reason I bought the diff. I mean, you don't spend £2 on a diff without realizing that's what's going to happen. I genuinely wasn't prepared for just how much. It's night and day, I would say. So with everything put together, it has transformed the car, and it would definitely outperform way bigger horsepower cars now on a track, especially a tight little track like Three Sisters. And even once I get the final drive sorted and we get the shorter gear in, it'll really surprise some quick cars. I'm quite sure of it. So yeah, a long video, a bit boring no doubt because it's mostly me talking, not a lot of scenery changes and stuff like that. But it is what it is. It's an informative video, this one, not an entertainment one. We'll see if we can get something a bit more, I don't know, factual somehow. Do a track day, do a back-to-back with someone. I don't know what we'll do, but we'll see if we can get some facts and figures involved. But from actual bum in seat feel of what's going on, it's a completely different car. I think if this package was offered by Porsche from the factory, they would be charging a lot more than £6,000 for it as an option. I think if you went to like a Motorsport garage and asked for a package like this to be put together, I think it'd be more than £6,000. So piecing it together yourself and getting a local specialist who you trust, or if you're Andy, you can do it all yourself. I could have done it all myself in the olden days when I had a back and some knees, but they exited the chat a long time ago. So I'm stuck paying basically £2,000 in labour fees, but it is what it is. What you're going to do. So yeah, that's it really. The Mini GT3 is alive and well, and we're just going to continue with the mission really. Like I say, what's next? We've got the final drive. We'll probably get some new wheels. We might get some bucket seats and harnesses. Maybe a few little bits of styling. I've got some extra bits here to fit. I think tomorrow I might do a diffuser, so there's a new video for you. We've got all sorts to do. The project hasn't stopped, but it is going to slow down for a little bit because £6,000 in a short period of time is a kick in the dick hole for most people, and absolutely for me. I'm a normal person with a normal wage, and £6,000 really is too much. I shouldn't have spent that much money, but I'm glad I have now. So anyway, the modifications will be slowing down, unfortunately, and it is what it is. But let's drive the bastard. All right. We will see you in the next video. Do us a favour, if you've lasted this long, fucking well done to you. But give us a like, a subscribe, a follow, a share, whatever else you want to do. Don't press the down thumbs button if you could, please. It makes me cry at night when I get a wah 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 like this. And yeah, that's it. Any questions from 987 or any other car suppose owners who might want to know anything about diffs, about gear ratios, whatever you want to know, feel free to ask me in the comments, and I'll do my best to explain. And that's about it. Right, see you in the next video, and yeah, thanks for watching. Like I say, if you lasted this long, you are a better person than me. See you in a bit.